Hey gang, JC here, and this is the Daily Dose for Friday, May 27th, Memorial Day edition here on JCOntheline.com. Trish and I will be moving our show on the Big 550 KTRS from 10 in the morning until 1 until noon till 3 starting Monday, June 13th. So again, we're moving from 10 in the morning till 1. Show's going to move from noon until 3 beginning Monday, June 13th on the Big 550 KTRS. Of course, now on Monday, maybe by the time you're watching this, because I'm taking Monday off in the Daily Dose, but Trish and I are doing Monday's show poolside here at the Palatial Corcoran Manse. So be listening for that 10 until 1 on Memorial Day on the Big 550 KTRS. And then we'll talk to you again on Tuesday here on JCOntheline.com on the Daily Dose. All right, congratulations, St. Louis. We made the top 10 list again of most dangerous cities in America. And I've been talking about this for a long time. Instead of the mayor calling a news conference and Charlie Dooley calling a press conference and everybody poo-pooing the numbers and trying to discredit the study, I say we play to it. Start making t-shirts, sell them at the airport. You just survived a week in the most dangerous city in America. The only problem is we're number 3 now. We got beat out by Flint, Michigan. You know, it's amazing how many of these cities are on here that I've worked in. Flint, Michigan, I was there in 1976, the summer of 1976. And I went back for the first time in 25, 30 years 2 summers ago. And it didn't look any better, let's put it that way. Detroit is number 2 and St. Louis made it number 3. New Haven, Connecticut at 4. Memphis, Oakland, Little Rock, Baltimore, Rockford, Illinois, another place I worked. And Stockton, California is number 10. And also, you know, Baltimore, I lived pretty close to Baltimore when I was in Washington, D.C. So congratulations, St. Louis. The ratings for American Idol, the big finale, were up significantly from the previous year. 28.2 million people watched the big finale on Wednesday night, 17% up from a year before. About 38.5 million people were watching at the time where the new American Idol was announced. Those were the smart people. You just wait till the end of the show and then see who won. In the meantime, Taylor Hicks, Ruben Studdard, David Cook, Chris Allen, and Lee DeWise are all saying too. Scotty McCreery, have a nice weekend. The last episode of Oprah also drew huge ratings, biggest audience in 17 years. The previous large audience for Oprah was on February 21st of 1994. The show was called People Shed Their Disguises, in which Oprah tried to convince her guests to stop hiding behind their questionable style and grooming choices. Apparently nothing else was on that day. All right, we got ourselves a real Hollywood scandal going on here, and I mean this is a pretty big one. January Jones from Mad Men. She was dating Jason Sudeikis from Saturday Night Live for a while, and she turns up preggers a couple of months ago, but will not announce the name of the baby daddy. And a lot of people are thinking, Jason Sudeikis, Saturday Night Live. And then he stepped forward, and she stepped forward and said, ain't him. So now it starts getting complicated because it turns out that director Matthew Vaughn appears to be the baby daddy. It's sort of complicated because he's married to Claudia Schiffer. January Jones met Matthew, the director, on the set of X-Men First Class. He directed it, and sources say that they were very, very close. Well, then this director, Matthew Vaughn, and Claudia Schiffer were renting a house in Beverly Hills, but multiple sources say they left town abruptly in late April, right around the time that January Jones announced that she was preggers. And as you'll recall, she never has announced who the baby daddy was. And then also, there was a word that this director was not going to be participating in some X-Men stuff, but he was there, and people said he had tonsillitis, and other people said he was fine. So something's going on here, but we'll stay on top of this one. But it's Claudia Schiffer. Could be the next Maria Shriver here. In the new movie, The Ledge, Liv Tyler is going to be doing her first nude scene in 15 years. Last time it was in 1996 for a movie called Stealing Beauty. She's a handsome female. The LA County Department of Child and Family Services just finished an investigation of Mariah Carey. An anonymous source tells DFS basically Mariah Carey's drinking beer up in her hospital room, and she was doing it right after she gave birth to this baby, to these twins, isn't it? Yeah, twins. So they investigate and they find out that somebody at the hospital said that drinking a beer right after you give birth helps in the lactation process. So the Department of Family and Children's Services investigated, and they're like, go ahead. Disney is re-releasing The Lion King in theaters in September. This is going to be a 3D version. This was the highest-grossing hand-drawn animated film of all time when it came out in 1994. $783 million in worldwide box office. And I know every song in that damn movie because my daughters, who were just little at the time that thing came out, watched it 3,000 times. Well, apparently, as you look at your email every day and wonder who these idiots are who send out this spam, and you just automatically delete it, and that's if it even makes it to your main email account. Most of the time people have spam filters, and it goes into some sort of a junk file. But, you just sit there and go, how do these guys make any money doing this? I think we have the answer. An analysis found that it takes about 12.5 million emails from a spammer to sell $100 worth of stuff. But the average spam campaign sends out 18 million emails. So if you do the math there, it comes out to about $144,000 in revenue. What am I messing around with this for? How come I'm not spamming? Who cares if people like you or not? Oh, all right, we're going to jump right to JC's Eye Candy and the big Are Christina Hendricks boobs real controversy continues. This is the chick from Mad Men. And, the show becomes a hit, and she is the sort of auburn-haired girl with the big boobs, the very Zoftic, very hourglass figure. And women immediately liked her because she wasn't one of these skinny bitches who's on TV all the time. And men liked her because she has, size... what was the old Datsun car? A 280Z? It was her bra size, too. So men liked her and women liked her. Okay, so the only problem was, about 10 years ago, she did a Playboy shoot, just a little pictorial, some people in clown makeup and stuff like that, but Playboy reran it a couple of months ago, and they're like, somebody had plastic surgery, because she's in her mid-20s when these pictures were taken for this photo shoot, and she's not even the same body type, and her boobs are like 1/8 the size. So if you hold that picture up next to the picture of her currently, it just looks like something up, and that's exactly what we have right below. You tell me, you be the judge. Could somebody in 10 years go from looking what she looks like in that Playboy photo spread to what she looks like now? And I've seen pictures of her, this picture that just got published on the internet yesterday, where she's taking her pants off and she's got a swimsuit underneath, she's going to the beach. They sure look real to me. So I don't know. Is it possible? Could somebody's body change that much in 10 years without, getting fat? Could you just suddenly... Well, you know what I'm talking about. Anyhow, those pictures are right there on Eye Candy. Take a look and let me know what you think. All right. So, Memorial Day weekend. I used to do a lot of my grocery shopping in the middle of the day. I would get off the air at 10 o'clock. Some days I'd try to get out there early, maybe 11:30 or something like that, try to skip out early. And I did that for many, many years. And it's interesting because when you go to the grocery store at that time of day, there's a lot of retirees, a lot of old people in the grocery stores. It's sort of like their time to have the grocery store to themselves. And time after time, you see these guys accompanying their wives, sometimes completely on their own. They have those blue baseball caps with the gold lettering on it that shows their military commission. And I always made it a point of acknowledging those guys. There's a famous John Prine song called Hello in There, and it's one of my all-time favorite songs. And it's about the fact that old people just sort of disappear. They just sort of blend into the background, and people act like they're not even there. And John Prine's suggestion was sometimes you make eye contact with elderly people and say, hello in there. You wouldn't really say that, but that's the message. Hi, we do see you, we do acknowledge you. And in the case of these military guys, especially on Memorial Day, it just seems criminal that these guys would just sort of blend into the woodwork. Let me give you some numbers here. So far in the war in Iraq, 4,457 American soldiers have died. 32,102 American soldiers have been wounded in the war in Iraq. The war in Afghanistan is now this country's longest war. 1,593 American soldiers have died in that war in Afghanistan. 11,541 American soldiers have been wounded in the war in Afghanistan. We've lost 7 more soldiers in Afghanistan as of this past Thursday. A record-breaking 245 American soldiers have committed suicide since 2009. That's 245, and that's a record. More U.S. soldiers are dying from drug overdoses, suicide, murder, accidents than from combat. At least 101,060 Iraqi civilians have been killed, and a lot of people think that number is way higher than that. 2.8 million Iraqis have been displaced. We have spent, as a country, $792 billion waging the war in Iraq and another $407 billion in Afghanistan. It costs $390,000 to deploy a soldier for 1 year. It is not an exaggeration. You know, Tom Brokaw wrote the book, The Greatest Generation. It's not an exaggeration. These guys, and they're mostly men, and there are a lot of women who gave all sorts of service and made tremendous sacrifices, lost husbands, had to raise families on their own, had to deal with men returning from war in just miserable condition, either physically, emotionally, or both. And both men and women throughout the history of war in this country have suffered. And on this Memorial Day weekend, while you're grilling and at the pool and riding bicycles and watching baseball games and drinking yourself silly and doing all the things that you do, and there's nothing wrong with that, just at some point hit a speed bump. Hit a speed bump and just remind yourself what this weekend is all about. That's it, JC's Daily Dose for the Memorial Day weekend. We're taking Monday off. We'll talk to you again on Tuesday. In the meantime, we've beaten this one to death. Have a good one. See you later. Bye.